We are live, finally. I am so sorry. If you're new to the channel, we are Agree to Disagree. This is the channel where we go live, we stream, we say some words, sometimes in the same order, sometimes in different orders, then we finish streaming. It's all really, really good fun. So if you're into that kind of stuff, please keep watching. Speaking of saying words, we haven't heard from our new co-host for the whole 30 seconds that this stream has been going on. So, Krafty, how are you doing?
That must actually be a little bit of a personal best for me closing my mouth. I don't know. Yeah, I talk a lot. I've just come off a stream, so I've had an hour and a half pretty much where it was just me and Stephen Cupperies and just talking shit. It was great. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing really well, and I want to apologise. See, Krafty was here about half an hour at least before we were due to start, and so was I. Everything was going really well until 5 minutes before we were due to start, and I had a internet error, which, to be honest, was my fault. I'll explain why later on. But now we are back. Who have we got in the chat? Should we give like a random shout out to people in the chat that we've not seen for a while? So, Clive Wells is always there. Let's see what Clive Wells is up to. He says hello. I agree. What do you think of that, Krafty?
Really? We're going to do this? Yeah, Clive Wells. The next comment, just, you're dead to me right now. You're dead to me.
Well, hey, Franklin. Go on, fill us in with the history of that.
So I explained this on the stream this morning. When I got monetized, one of my greatest friends on YouTube, Tusk, super chatted me for the first time. And then he messaged me saying, oh, well, if I gave you your first super chat, I must be allowed and entitled to name one of your eyebrows, which he named Franklin. Now, I didn't accept the premise, but unfortunately, people have now started obsessing over the welfare of Franklin. So, and Clive is one of those people.
Please tell me the other one's called Benjamin.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Please tell me.
Seriously? No. The original one is not called Franklin either, so no.
I think it should be called Benjamin, but like in the wrong order. So instead of being Benjamin Franklin, right, left to right, it should be Franklin Benjamin. Then people could ask you, why have you not put it in the right
You're not
order?
helping here. You're really not helping.
So, go on. Do you want to tell everybody what we're doing today then?
Well, we decided, because this week is the 1 year anniversary of the channel being a thing, well done in that, that we would have just a few simple, silly little debates. They're not supposed to be serious, but Catz being Catz has to get his PowerPoint out. That's not going to save you, mate. It's really not. So the first one, particularly for me, I want to show people part of what I want to bring to the channel is my debating experience, because I've been involved in running debating societies in university. I've been involved in the kind of pro side of debating. So one of the things that I want to do is set a framework in place for people who haven't debated before to kind of come in and to be welcomed, and set up like little mini debates, and like what we're going to see today. So we're going to have a few little debates between myself and Catz. Catz is going to lose because I'm awesome. No, I'm joking. So yeah, that's basically the plan for today.
Yeah, so each debate will be just under half an hour long, maybe about 20, 25 minutes. We're going to be done by 4:30. It's not going to be a long stream. And then you guys in the chat get to vote for the winner of each debate. They are silly. The first 3 debates, we are going to debate, is it better to be a pirate or a ninja? That's the first one. What's the second one, Krafty?
What is the second one? The second one is which one is better, Marvel or DC, in terms of movies particularly, and comics. So that's going to be the second one.
And the third one is going to be our favourite flat earther and why. So without further ado, because we haven't got a huge amount of time today, let's get into it. Krafty, the pirate versus ninja was your idea. Do you want to open up with this one?
I'll let you go.
Oh, thank you very much. Okay, I'm not going to say too much. I'm going to save my hard hitting PowerPoint for the back and forth. But all I'm essentially going to say is that it's obviously better to be a pirate for the very, very sole reason that ninjas lead a very, very selfless life. They are guided. They are told where to go. They're told what to do. And we're going obviously back historically. The life really wasn't their own. Imagine them as a Jedi, but without any of the actual powers. But also, imagine them as being human beings who are on a scale of good ninja to bad ninja. And when we think about ninjas, we think about ninjas that are up here at that end where everybody's absolutely amazing. But a lot of ninjas were actually like this. I get no sound.
You probably didn't download the sound with it. I don't know.
Now that's going to. Did anyone hear any sound on that? Because maybe I've downloaded the clips without any sound. That's going to ruin my entire debate. So essentially, ninjas or pirates. Pirates are kings of the seas. They get to go out. They get to live their own life. They get to do whatever they want to do, go wherever they want to go, be whatever they want to be, and most importantly, they get financial reward, which we'll come into in a minute. But that's just my very short opener. What do you think, Krafty?
Okay, if that's what you're going with.
That's what I'm going with.
Okay, I'm going to share my PowerPoint.
Okay.
Yes, I have a PowerPoint because, right, so here's the thing. When I started doing things for this, and then I came in like quarter past 3, wasn't it? Or 2? And you were like, oh, I have all this. I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake. Right, so I threw together a PowerPoint. So prepare to fail. And yeah, see, now, are you not allowing me to share my PowerPoint because you're scared?
I'm not. Oh, I didn't do that at all. I didn't do anything. Look, my hands are here. I'm not touching anything. I'll put them on my head.
You do realize I can see what you're doing. I do have 2 screens. Fuck that. No, that was me, actually. That was me. Because I can't tech either, people. We're all fucked. Right, so my PowerPoint. Here we go. Are you ready? Why it's better to be a ninja than a pirate. Let's see. Yeah, I can't get this up. Okay. So people can see there. Let me see, because yeah, there we go. They can see it in full screen now. So why it's better to be a ninja than a pirate. Life is better as a ninja for 3 simple reasons. The first is a better skill set. We'll go through these one by one and why they're better. So they have a better skill set than pirates. They have way better and way cooler weapons. And it's just simply a better lifestyle. So if you think that just getting boozed up all the time and being a selfish douchebag is better for you, then go ahead. But if you want a life of actual meaning and honor, then the life of a ninja is definitely the best. So the skills, they have stealth on their side. They are designed for infiltration, espionage. They have the speed. So when you think of a pirate, all you think is a boozed up old boozy who has a beer belly and who swabs decks. With a ninja, you have stealth. You have speed. You are a designed killing machine. You have the gift of death. They are assassins. They are the genius assassins that we all know and love. Without the ninja, you wouldn't have James Bond. You wouldn't have the secret agents because these guys came before them. They paved the way for all of our favorite superheroes in terms of the secret agent genre. They are excellent at sabotage and they can kill with their bare hands. Pirates are that inept. They need either a cannon or they need a gun. They can't kill you with their bare hands. They're pathetic. And also discipline. Ninjas can survive in every terrain. You take a pirate out of the water, they don't know what the fuck to do. So ninjas can survive on water. They can also survive on any terrain of land. Pirates are screwed. The weapons for a ninja as you can see here, they have multiple swords. They have about 7 different swords they can use to their disposal. They have nunchucks. They have poison darts. They have throwing stars and smoke bombs and spikes and crossbows. They have the ability to scale a wall, whether it be with a grappling hook or just them themselves, because they're trained. They have little hooks in their on their gloves. So they are trained for stealth. They have the coolest weapons of anyone, whether it be pirates, whether it be anything else. They have the coolest weapons. And of course, the best weapon that they have is themselves. They don't need weapons. They can actually kill you with their bare hands because of the stealth aspect. Their lifestyles. Look at this thing. Look at this thing. They live in dojos. They live in temples. They eat healthy. They survive in any terrain. They are the initial Boy Scouts of the world. They control the elements. The only thing that the pirate can actually control is their gag reflex from all of the body odor on the ship. Their clothing is functional and stylish. You will never get a better life than that of a ninja. Choose ninja, people. Ninjas are way better than pirates.
Okay, so none of that was relevant because... Thank you, though, Krafty. Because what is relevant, what is important, right? Well, this is what is important. I found a website that took the earnings of 10 real-life famous pirates and scaled them up to today's value. Okay, Blackbeard earned over his pirating career and he's number 10 on the list, $12.5 million. All right, he doesn't need to sleep on the floor in a wooden dojo. He earned $12.5 million. He was at number 10. John Halsey, I'd never even heard of him. Not even that famous. He earned $13 million in his pirating. If we go to number 1, Black Samuel Bellamy, earned $120 million as a pirate. So you can have your fancy grappling hooks and you can have your fancy, armed combat techniques and be able to put your leg all the way up here. None of that is going to do you any good when you've got a cannonball smashing you in the face. A ninja has to risk their life to go up to somebody and fight them. A pirate doesn't have to give a shit. He can kill you from 60 yards away while he's counting his money because he'll blow your ship out the water. If you want to take a pirate on by going and trying to chase him down in the water, A, you're not going to meet him because he will kill you before you even get there. And B, I forgot what B was, but it doesn't even matter. Listen, what does matter is what is the most important thing? Do you want a life of poverty but have bendy legs? Or do you want a life where you can spend your time counting $120 million? That's what I'm going to say.
Bendy legs. That's like, who doesn't want a leg that bends? That's kind of their function. Like...
Yeah, but pirates have wooden legs. They don't bend.
Yeah, instead they get termites. Or they have eye patches for, depth perception, because we all know depth perception isn't important to be a warrior. But yeah, look, here's the thing. A ninja can, what was I going to say? A ninja can live in luxury without needing to be an outlaw. And that's the thing. With a ninja, nobody knows you exist. Nobody knows you're there, so you're never on the run. With pirates, they're always being hounded. They're always being chased. They're always being attacked. So even with that, the life of a ninja is a lot more peaceful. You get to do whatever the hell you want and absolutely no incrimination for it. Because with the ninja, you can escape. A ninja, you can be anyone, anywhere. With the pirate, everybody knows the whole thing is about glory. The whole thing is about material things. And so you actually care about how much money you make. With a ninja, you don't care because you can be anyone, anywhere, anytime. So you can just go into a palace and just chill. Nobody's going to know you're there. You can eat whatever you want. You can go wherever you want. Pirates are always on the run. Pirates are always going to be hounded by, quote unquote, the law. So yeah, it's better to be a ninja.
Okay, thank you, Tatty Bogle, so much for that. We've only got a couple of minutes of the ninja debate left, but I'm going to end it by crushing Krafty Keeler with this question here, as I would any flat earth or anybody who was wrong. You made a claim before, Krafty. You said that ninjas can control the elements. I would like to know exactly how a ninja can control the elements, and do you have any evidence or citation to suggest they can do such a thing that's impossible?
That is a very, very good question. Ninjas can control wind by various different contraptions that they build, because ninjas are inventors, unlike pirates. They just sail the seas, being useless. And though I don't have any citations, I can give them to you. They can also control water. Again, ninjas were the original ninjas back in Japan were some of the original farmers in Japan. So they were the ones creating irrigation. They were the ones creating a lot of systems that we still use today. Because here's the thing, a ninja, when they weren't being a ninja, were productive members of society. They controlled fire. They designed weaponry, whether it be the blow dart or whether it be flamethrowers. They all came from ninjas, because the ninja was the original assassin, the original warrior. So yeah, they could control the elements a hell of a lot better than any pirate ever could.
So the question was, Krafty, nice try. But the question was, how do pirates control the elements, other than by making various contraptions that can control the elements? Exactly how can they control earth, wind, and the other two?
Well, do you not remember the other two?
No, go on. I'm joking. How exactly can they do that?
Well, okay. For example, in early style Japan, what they would do was they would create wooden sandals in order to learn how to be light on their feet. So they would go over very, very plain sheets of ice and learn how to adapt to that situation, to be more stealthy and to be able to control the element of water. And again, when we talk about controlling the elements, I don't actually mean that they have control of weather, because you can't. But what I mean is that they adapt to whatever surroundings they are in, and they use any element to control those surroundings. So therefore, they're bending the element to their will in order to survive. Also, just to say, if you're on a pirate ship, the only thing that you're going to get is scurvy. So don't go onto a pirate ship. It's nasty. It's unhealthy. It's unsanitary. Be a ninja. Be a ninja.
Yeah. But once you've earned yourself, 12.5, 13 million, $120 million, you don't have to go back on the pirate ship. You can have an early retirement. And that's where I'm going to leave my argument, because we've got 2 more mini debates to come on to. Should we ask the crowd to vote?
Yes, but I will say one thing about the money. Here's the thing about the money, guys. They get money, they bury the money, they don't actually use the money. Therefore, what's the point in the money?
I never claimed that pirates earn money and then don't use it. That would be counterintuitive. They live a long and happy lifestyle. They live a long and happy lifestyle. Right, should we get them voting then? Sure. What should we say? Type pirate or ninja in the chat? What do you think?
Yes.
All right, let's get going. Type pirate or ninja in the chat and we will see who the winner is. While you are doing that, I've got a question, Krafty, for you, and I generally don't know the answer to this one. And this is a true story. I woke up this morning, I've got a fish tank next to my bed, and one of the fish was on the floor, on the carpet. Yeah, dead. Now, I didn't know fish would jump out of tanks. I've never had that before, and I had to Google it. That's a real thing. And I tested the water, and the water was absolutely on point. The pH was on point. The nitrates was on point. Really good water. Why would a fish jump out the tank for no reason?
Well, you see, the only thing I can think of, I seen Simon Dan in the chat there earlier. I think he let Zeus into your bedroom, and it scared the fish.
Yeah, but that cat is massive, isn't it? It's amazing. Oh, well, let's have a look. If we have a look at the chat, I think it's a bit of a landslide. What do you think there for this one, Krafty?
To be honest, I'm not looking at the chat. People like pirates. That's okay. There's a good few for ninja. Pirate wins the day. Now, question for the chat. Question for the chat. Did you vote for pirate because you like pirates, or did you vote pirate because Catz actually made the better argument because Catz was all over the place? So there's the question for the chat.
It is. I'm just going to put that on there to keep people updated. No, that is a good question. I mean, I'll be fair. Out of the three
notions,
topics, out of the 3 topics we're debating today, I am far more prepared for the other 2. This was the one that I just thought, because actually I'd have gone for ninja, but too late now, I suppose. Yes. So I thought I was on a weak one there, but
now people like pirates. It's cool. I love ninjas. I prefer ninjas.
Okay, so you get to choose the next debate of the 2.
The next debate is the next debate is the Marvel versus DC.
Absolutely. Do you want to go first or second?
I'll go. Well, since you're not actually bringing up your fucking PowerPoint until I go, I suppose I'll go first. Okay. I don't have a PowerPoint for this because just time. We decided to do this like at 6, 7 o'clock last night. So yep. I don't have a PowerPoint, but here we go. So I'm going to be arguing for Marvel over DC. I'm going to concentrate more on the movies than on the comics, but it translates to the comics too. So why Marvel is better than DC? First of all, I actually agree, Clive. But first of all, we're going to go through three reasons. Again, we're going to go through 3 reasons. First of all, the character development, both in the villains and the superheroes, are much, much more fleshed out and much more believable and relatable in Marvel. Second of all, the diversity of characters, not just in terms of their superpowers, but also in terms of race, sex, and everything else, and just species, is so much better in the Marvel comics and Marvel universe than it is in DC universe. Also, the stories are a hell of a lot better, whether that be they're funnier, they have the better lines and they're funnier, or whether it's the dramatics. They are so much better in the Marvel universe. So, first of all, the character development. Every hero have complex backstories. They grow through their series, and they face real inner turmoil that most of us would actually face. Whereas a lot of it that I see with DC is more very standardized. Either they have a superpower or they're aliens. That basically sums up DC. Tony Stark, for instance, just as one instance, in Iron Man 3 has panic attacks after the first Marvel movie where he goes into outer space and nearly dies in outer space. That whole movie in Iron Man 3 is him coming to terms with what had happened, having panic attacks, having anxiety, and overcoming that. They have real life issues outside of their superhero persona. You don't really get that with DC. The villains are much more relatable. Again, an example, Steppenwolf in the Justice League just wants to take over the Earth because sure, why not? Very small Dr. Evil style thinking. Whereas Thanos in the Marvel universe wants to eliminate half the universe to save it from overpopulation. So it's not just simple, I'm an evil villain. It is actually fleshed out. He has a backstory, he has complication, and it's relatable as well. The background characters also have space to grow. So you have a series of characters, not just the main characters, but you have a series of characters, secondary characters, tertiary characters who come into their own as well in the Marvel universe. You don't really see that with DC. The second one is the diversity of characters. You have very strong female characters, a lot more so in Marvel Universe than in DC. You have Gamora in Guardians of the Galaxy. You have Jessica Jones, Pepper Potts, who starts off as a very simple person who develops into something incredible. You have the Ancient One, Captain Marvel, Scarlet Witch, Black Widow. They're not, and the Wasp. You have female superheroes who are not derivative of the characters in DC. You have strong non-white characters. Hulk, although he is played by in his normal life as a white man, is green. Hulk is green, right? Black Panther. You have the whole Wakanda situation, the whole Wakanda tribes. You have Luke Cage, Falcon, Storm, whose mother was a tribal Kenyan princess. You have Rocket Raccoon. You have Groot. Who doesn't love Groot? Come on, who doesn't love Groot? Get out right now if you don't. So when these characters take over leading roles, like Captain America and Spider-Man, they do so as separate characters with their own individual backstories. It's not tokenism. It's not, here's a black character who's now going to play Kal-El in Superman, which they're now talking about. They're real, genuine characters. Then finally, the stories are so much better. When you look at the Marvel universe, when the Avengers unite, you see this huge, epic story. What happened with Batman versus Superman? How did they actually unite? A name, and the name of Superman's mother. That's all he cared about. Otherwise, Batman can get stuffed. The characters is so much better. The stories are so much better. The lines, even when they are fighting, they're so much funnier in the Marvel universe than in the DC. So with that, I'll give it to you, Catz.
Okie dokie. Well, first of all, thank you, Shane. I will check the flow rate of the tank, actually. I've checked my levels and everything. That's fine. And the tank's fairly big, but I will have a look at the flow rate. Thank you so much for that. Really appreciate it. Okay, so Krafty, let's deal with that. Now, when I think of Marvel versus DC, I think like a lot of people, I get this image in my head, right? The obviously, the more recent films, the Marvel cinematic universe have brought up, and let's look at a couple of the points you made. You talked about diversity in characters. Now, yes, diversity is important on screen. I get that. It's not the reason that I would watch something. I never wake up and think I want to watch something with a diverse cast today. I want everything to be story driven, and Marvel, they managed to do that well. I will absolutely grant that with the DC universe. With the Marvel universe that they've got here. They managed to do it really, really, really well. We've got blue characters, green characters. This woman's got these things coming out of her head, which is great. He's blue. We've got female actors, male actors, actors of different colours and ethnicities. Okay, but that's not why anybody liked Marvel. People liked Marvel because they were the cinematic universe, because the stories were good, right? They were entertaining. The films were good, and people wanted to see them. But unfortunately for you, this debate isn't about how good the Avengers films were. This debate is about Marvel, and you said it earlier on, the comics, the films, Marvel as a whole against DC as a whole. And that is where you're going to let yourself down, because unfortunately, let's have a look at Marvel as a whole and where they are going. This is a tweet I pulled off Twitter during my high IQ research for this debate. And the most recent new show, Marvel's New Warriors, has been cancelled even before the first episode had been aired. Because all of those things that you said, right, that was done so well here, right, all of the, being able to cram a diverse cast, diverse characters, but make it story focused and not focused on diversity, make it focused on the story. All of those things they ruined as they created the New Warriors. Let's have a look at some of the superheroes that Marvel were pushing for the next generation. I don't know if you've seen these. We have Snowflake and Safe Space. Have you heard of Snowflake and Safe Space?
I have.
So let's have a look at how the Marvel website themselves talk about Snowflake and Safe Space. They are hyper aware of modern culture and optics, and they see their superheroics as a post-ironic meditation on violence to combat bullying. This is not how you introduce diversity and social justice into the entertainment industry. You do it like this, right? This was brilliant. This was amazing. But unfortunately, it's a snapshot of Marvel's history now. This is the future that they wanted to go to. Let's have a look at some more of the new Avengers. We have screen time. Look at screen time and compare him to the Hulk or Thor or Wolverine. We can look at the X-Men. We've got screen time. He's a kid who's obsessed with memes, right? His brain is connected to the internet. And now look what he can do. He can see augmented reality and real-time maps. Well, whoopee fucking do. I cannot wait to watch a screen time film. That is amazing. What was I doing watching the Avengers when I can watch screen time with some kid who can now access augmented reality and real-time maps? We've got this chick here. She's a regular kid with a magic backpack. She can pull and this is what I like about it, she can pull out useful or just random objects. That's her superpower. So, maybe she wants to pull out a gun because she's in trouble, but, brings out a cheese grater. That's not going to do her any good. This, unfortunately for you, is Marvel and the direction Marvel want to go in. Now, if you want to talk about, diversity and having strong female characters, etc., what about having a superhero who was created to be an inspiration for stay-at-home women? All right. Do you think if DC did a superhero that was supposed to be an inspiration for stay-at-home women, do you think DC would do a snowflake and safe space? Or would they do this? Wonder Woman was created to fill that role, to help the women who were staying at home during the war feel empowered. And they created an amazing character, really strong, female lead, strong character, absolutely fantastic. But it wasn't shit. I've got a feeling that if I watch a film with Snowflake and Safe Space doesn't even attack people. All he can do is bring up a shield. He can't even bring it up around himself. I'm not even kidding. His superpower is only to defend other people. If someone shot him, he couldn't. He's powerless. His shield, his pink shield, will only defend other people. I don't know where I was going with that. So we could talk about the different heroes, Marvel, DC. I am prepared and ready to do that. But I've waffled on for too long. I'm going to hand the floor over to you.
And see, here, guys, is how not to run a debate. Trying to blacken my position instead of actually showing why DC is fucking relevant at all is why you fail in this debate. Because here's the thing. Marvel don't get everything right. Gasp, shock, horror. They're an enterprise. They don't always get stuff right. But on the side of who gets shit wrong the most, it has to fall in DC's corner. It has to. I mean, okay, you wanted to talk about the different heroes, and I saw that you had Iron Man versus Batman, right? Two very similar superheroes who are rich boys, whatever. Tony Stark gets drunk. Tony Stark has parties. Tony Stark is a laugh. He's not brooding, even when he's in his alter ego state as Tony Stark, as Iron Man. All Batman does is brood around and I'm so sad and I'm so depressed. Tony Stark has never allowed anything to stop him and hold him back. Tony Stark invents his own stuff. Batman relies on the intellect of others in order to have anything to actually help him through whatever problem he has. Iron Man invents things himself. That's the whole point.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Iron Man is one of those excellent characters that Marvel have created in the past. And you're right that what I did try and do was rather than prove DC was the best, I did try to trash Marvel by bringing up Snowflake and Safe Space, which I'm just going to poison the well with again, just so everyone can see that this is the future of Marvel. By the way, not these guys here, all right. These guys here. But you're right, that is poisoning the well. So let's have a look at why DC is better, in my opinion, of course. It's subjective, isn't it? When you're watching films, etc. It is very... I prefer the dark, more gritty, realistic type films. But I want to make it clear, I love the Avengers. I love that cinematic universe. I love the TV series and the spin-offs that come with it. I'm a fan of both. I'm a real fan of both. I don't have a favourite side. So I'm not going to slag off any of the Marvel characters, but we'll forget that one. But,
you'd better.
Yeah. But, but we could go through and we could talk about each one of these characters as a head-to-head. But what I don't think we can deny is that each one of these characters has been successful, in their own right. Each one of these characters has been involved in fantastic storylines, etc. And I think that just would be subjective. I'm not gonna say that people shouldn't like Doctor Strange and they should like Green Lantern, for example, because it is subjective. So I want to keep the debate focused on where we said it should be focused, and that is on Marvel as a whole and DC as a whole, not the individual characters. And as a whole, I see DC as trying to take a route to the future to build something like Marvel did, to build the DC universe. And I see Marvel slowly chipping away and breaking it down and substituting quality story for social justice and diversity reasons, when before they had it so right, they had all the diversity that they needed and they used that diversity to focus on good stories. Now they're taking past success and using that to focus on social justice and diversity, and that is going to be their downfall.
Well, can I just come back on that and say, well, it is a very good point, but for at least they are trying to develop new characters. All that DC are doing is regurgitating the same old crap in a different form. And I will again bring up the fact that they are considering bringing out a Black Superman. Now, I was listening to Nate the Lawyer. Nate the Lawyer, go look at him. His rant was fantastic. I am not against a Black Superman. Not at all. And there are Black Supermen in that universe. But instead of actually taking one of those fleshed out characters, one of those incredible characters, and bringing them to the fore, what they're going to do is, because of tokenism, because they're not really about diversity at all, is what they're going to do is they're going to put Kal-El, aka Clark Kent, as Black. So they're not actually serious about genuine diversity in their worlds. They're just about tokenism. Whereas even as crap as the characters that you just shown there might be, they are their own individual character. They have their own backstory. Whether they're good or not, again, that's up to people to decide. But they are their own character. It's not tokenism. It's not petty. So again, you haven't shown why DC as a whole can even stand up next to Marvel. Yes, they don't get everything perfect, but Marvel at least are trying with genuine characters. We see Falcon taking over the role of Captain America. We see genuine characters coming to the fore instead of just replacing them with token characters. So again, sorry, man.
Well, I will agree with you on that point, that the whole tokenism, and it happened with one of my favorite shows, Doctor Who. You know, there's nothing wrong with having, you know, if you want to have a show that's centered around a strong female character, brilliant. Make a show that's centered around a strong female character. You know, don't take somebody who it's so written into their lore, you know, is a man and has had 13 lives as a man, and you know, the whole backstory is developed, and then after 50 years say, well, actually, no, he wasn't a man. He was a woman all along. He started off as a girl, and then he was this, that, and the other. And, you know, just nobody appreciates that. Nobody has started to watch Doctor Who because they rewrote the backstory. Nobody's gone, oh, I didn't used to want to watch Doctor Who, but now I know that he wasn't a man to start with and he was a woman. I'm all in. Let's binge watch it. Nobody's thought that. All that has happened is people have watched it and gone, why have they done that? And it's turned some people off. And it would be the same if they take Superman and make him black. You're right. Nobody is going to then start saying, oh, I'm going to watch Superman now because they've made him black. Nobody is not watching Superman because he's not black. So nobody's going to watch Superman if they make him black at all, ever. All it's going to do is make people really confused and say, why have they done that? You know, that's really odd. Just make characters, you know, you can make them whatever gender and whatever race you want to make them, but focus them on good stories and they'll do really well. And that is historically what Marvel did. And we said before, they had some great diverse characters. Where's my slide gone? They had some great diverse characters, didn't they? And they focused on the story, and the story went really, really well. You know, I'm just interested in what the future of, not to poison the well again, but the future of Snowflake and Safe Space and screen time is, and they might be original. They might be original. They've got that in their favor. But I don't know. I look at that, and I look at that,
So
and then I look at that.
So you compare a show that's made for adults in the Marvel, in kind of the Avengers, and you look at things designed for children, and then you try to compare the two. Well done.
Yes, I'm glad you spotted that. I'm glad you spotted that's what I did. Yes, but you know, in all seriousness, I do like both. I do like. I'm not a I don't want anyone from DC that might want to, give me the next role as Batman or something like that if they're watching, or Marvel if they want to make me Superman. I don't want to. I don't want to burn any bridges.
Tuss says, off topic, bring him back. The reason why I didn't pull him on it, and the reason why I didn't bring him back, is because he was signing his own death warrant there. Because basically what Catz has done for this whole entire debate is divert, because he doesn't have an argument as to why DC are in any way, shape, or form better than Marvel, or even as good as Marvel with anything that they've tried to do. And instead he talks about Doctor Who, something completely separate to this debate, because he has no argument.
That's the Doctor Who thing just winds me up, and it's been a really good. That was nice to vent about it. Really gets me angry. But no, if you want to know why, we are never, ever, 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 ever going to be able to convince somebody that a particular film is better or worse than another film, because you watch a film and the way you feel about it is the way you feel about it. And when I watch the superhero films, I might watch something like Superman versus Batman, which got absolutely panned by critics and a lot of people. I really like that film. I wasn't a fan, I'll be honest, of Black Panther. I thought there wasn't much threat in Black Panther. I'd have preferred like more of a villain there. But then there's other films, Guardians of the Galaxy, I think is absolutely brilliant. And then I compare that to Suicide Squad from DC, which I thought was a bit rubbish. So, I'm not all in for one, all in for the other. It's subjective. But
Craven Moordick says FTFE is a DC fan, therefore DC sucks and Catz wins. Catz is arguing in favor of DC. So let's be honest here, okay? Catz is arguing in favor of DC.
Yeah, and if that, my argument mustn't have been that good if it came across that I was arguing elsewhere. Yeah.
So even when he's trying to argue for DC, he makes the case against DC. So thank you.
Yes. So that went well. But yeah, no, just as a whole, I like what DC are doing. I like the fact they're keeping it dark. I like the fact they're keeping it gritty. I like the fact they're keeping it grounded.
They're the emos. They're the emos of the comic world. If you like emo, then vote for DC. Well,
I've exhausted my argument, which basically centered around me laughing at this really hard this morning when I was putting the PowerPoint together.
Yes, a children's cartoon. A children's cartoon.
So I'll let you have the last say. Maybe we'll go to the chat and see what they think. I will shut up and let you go.
Yeah, I think you've made the argument for me that DC sucks. Yeah. That's all there is to be said. So chat, vote away.
So DC or Marvel? You spell DC, by the way, D-C. Okay?
Really?
In the chat. Chat, let's see what comes in. DC or Marvel?
You really have to tell them that?
I'm just stressing the point. If you want to test out the D and the C buttons on your keyboard to make sure they're working, now would be a good time.
Yeah, there's no need for that. Nobody's going to use D or C in this.
We haven't had any votes. Oh, Marvel, got the first one. Oh, Wade Watts, hello. See, he's got it. That's what it's all about. He prefers DC, but your argument was better.
And this is the point of debates, guys. It's not about your preconceived notions. It's about who set the better tone, who actually argued the best. It's not about the subject matter, to be honest.
Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, C. Love you, C.
Oh, right. I think. I don't know.
Even Taddy. Marvelous argument for DC, but Krafty won this one.
Oh, I've just overwritten that. Sorry, I didn't realise. Sorry. Yes, let's put that back on. I think you have won this one.
Ranty has it. I think Krafty won. Catz got owned. That happened, folks. So stay tuned.
I'll just get my next bit of my PowerPoint up for my next debate. I'll just leave that slide on for a bit. So that's one apiece. I'll update the banner then, shall I?
Yep.
Create a banner. And then that's one, Krafty one. This is it. This is a big decider before home time. I'm nervous. Don't know about you, but
I'm just having fun.
Right. Okay. Next debate. Do you want to... I'll stop screen sharing now. Do you want to introduce it?
The next debate is on who is the best flat earther, which is, again, totally arbitrary and totally subjective. And because I went first in the last one, I'm going to let Catz take this one.
Okay. So who is the best flat earther? For me, I thought the best flat earther the flat earther that is entertaining, says silly things, you could make memes out of them.
Bumpy. My name is Bumpy. My name is Bumpy. My name is Red.
And then I thought, perhaps not. Perhaps the best flat earther are the ones who are most polite and complimentary.
Conspiracy Catz. Your videos are amazing.
Thank you. And then I thought, well, maybe I could go with Peter and Pete because not only are they polite and complimentary, but they do say the most incredibly stupid things. And for me, you know, is being the best flat earther, knowing that when somebody says something completely stupid, that everything else that comes out of the mouth, you're instantly going to just not believe. So actually they do flat earth a disservice by showing how out there their beliefs are, like this.
Could clouds be made of salt?
Because obviously when someone comes out and says something like that, then anything else that they say is going to be ridiculed. But then I thought, no. Here's a little glimpse of the start of my next video.
No. Can't touch this.
And Arwen is the man to say that because Arwen is the one person that I don't think can be touched in flat earth, because I thought the best flat earther is the flat earther that just says nothing at all. And Arwen is amazing at that. Arwen will host his live streams and he will sit there in the live stream and instead of interacting with people and talking to them on a live stream, he will sit in silence and respond on the keyboard. I have absolutely no idea how long I'm going to show this for, but this is an excerpt from one of Arwen's genuine live streams. Let's watch this together and I'll see what the chat are saying. I'll press play. Here we go. So right now he's responding to people in his own chat by typing to them.
I think we've tortured people enough.
We've seen enough. Now, I just want to highlight over it. Can you see how far I am through this video here? Right? If I was to go through the whole thing, this is how long. So there we go. I'll stop showing that. So the best flat earther to me is a flat earther who says nothing at all. Arwen says nothing at all. Therefore, he's the best flat earther.
Nice. Nicely done. Nicely
Thank
done. We had agreed that because Ranty has now come back to reality, that he was off limits, because it would have been very easy to show Ranty as an amazing globe earth proof. But no, I actually took one of our favorite flat earthers because I think although he's completely wrong and completely hilarious, he is also the one that I actually believe really thinks this crap, and that's Del. Weirdly enough, Del is my favorite flat earther. I love watching Del because, first of all, the message that he pumps out is a very simple one. Just like, you know, Matt Powell has a giant inflatable banana in his backyard that he calls Dr. Peel. Very, very simple. His idea is, I don't see it, I don't feel it, therefore the earth is not rotating. Very simple. Very simple. And he goes off on tangents that can last for about 5 hours long. It's incredible. The longevity of this guy is really, really interesting. And yes, we have the Del cow, which is love it. You gotta love someone that comes up with their own lines, you know, their own catchphrases, so to speak. And you don't really get catchphrases with anyone else. So their message is very simple. I can't feel it. I can't see it. Therefore, the earth is flat. The earth is not rotating. Prove me wrong. And here's the thing about Del. He's always well presented. He is always well spoken, except when he goes on his little tangents of insults. He also has the best insults of anyone in the flat earth when he's insulting people. Hate to say it, but he does. The other thing is he does his own research. He may not be able to assess his research, but he does his own research. He actually tries. Where I don't, other than Ranty, I've never really seen any other flat earther really try to run experiments and do experiments. I've never seen it from any other flat earther. The other thing, as absolutely demented as Del is, he is very entertaining to watch. And I do believe, genuinely, I do believe he is a guy that you can sit down with, have a beer with, and have a laugh. Mainly because you have no idea what the fuck he's saying, because his accent is so thick. But you can have a beer with Del. You can have a beer. You can't have a beer with Arwen. He's absolutely batshit crazy, and you won't get any fun out of him. There's no life in Arwen. You'll get life out of Del. So I think Del is the best flat earther.
Well, you see, I suppose we could have really drawn up tighter criteria on this, because I think you're right. What you said at the beginning is that, you know, he really believes what he's saying. And I'm absolutely sure that he does believe what he's saying. He's been around for a very, very, very long time. He's never been tempted to monetize his channel or take any money or, you know, anything like that. So he's not in it for any of that kind of stuff. He doesn't really do much off his own channel. I don't think he's interested too much in publicizing himself. I think he genuinely believes what he's saying. But what he says is still absolute nonsense and drivel. You know, it is the most horrendous sort of misrepresentations of science and the misunderstandings of science. And, you know, when you see people go onto his platform to try and correct him or you know, discuss that with him, very much like on Nathan Oakley's platform, you don't get to see, you know, you don't get to see him challenge. He'll cut that off. And he's created his own little echo chamber where, you know, the kind of mantra is, you answer to me, I don't answer your questions. And then the little following he gets, you know, they'll watch and they'll pick up on that, and they'll never be exposed. You know, the more they watch and fall into it, they'll never be exposed to, you know, the actual flaws that are in, the obvious flaws that are in what he says. And, you know, ultimately that's quite harmful for the people who are watching. So I get what you're saying. I'm sure if you were talking about football or guitar or whatever, it'd be all right to sit and have a beer with and a laugh with. But I think if we're talking about just the person as a flat earther, I think it's quite harmful to the people in his echo chamber. Whereas Arwen is so out there, really, in some of the stuff he says. Arwen doesn't really have a following, you know, or a you know, people who think Arwen are like followers that think Arwen knows the way or that Arwen is correct. People might dip in and out of his stream, but nobody really pays much attention to what he says when he does actually talk. So that's why I classed him as the best flat earther. But I think what's come out of this is maybe we could have tightened the criteria up, because I can see exactly what you're saying, but I'm coming at the debate for different criteria.
Yeah, I mean, Arwen, when Arwen opens his mouth, it's basically crying that he hasn't got monetized yet. And I get what you mean. The best flat earther is one that can't actually make an argument. It's great fun. But I like a challenge. I like to be able to explain why Del is wrong. I like to be able to explain why Del feels the way he does. Because here's the thing, there are other people out there, and I get the echo chamber, but unless you're willing to take on the genuine arguments of flat earthers like Del, then you can't really claim that you're a debunker, because you're afraid to take on the most sensible arguments. And if you don't take on the most sensible arguments, you can't actually beat the idea of flat earth. So that's why, again, Del presents a challenge to people who wants to be debunkers when they actually look at what he's saying. But Arwen, again, I understand what you're saying. Arwen can't really be claimed to be a flat earther because he can't actually make an argument.
No, he can't. I remember being on his channel once, talking to him, and he was all over the place. He told me that gas expands because gas particles are sentient, and they know Like when you pop a balloon or something, they know that balloon has been popped, so they make a conscious decision to move from one place to another. And then when I wouldn't repeat what he said word for word, he banned me. He kicked me from the stream and he banned me. But obviously you don't have to refute those kind of, and that's why, again, to me, Arwen is the best kind of flat earther, because you don't have to refute what he said there. He's not dragging anyone else down with him, because even people that might otherwise be susceptible to flat earth are going to listen to what Arwen's got to say and think that's absolute nonsense. Whereas I think with Del, he'll spot something that at very first glance might seem counterintuitive. You might say, well, how can you have gas pressure next to a vacuum or something like that? And then obviously, it's not difficult to explain that away or prove, what needs to be proven. But he will not allow that proof to be shown or explained on his channel. He won't allow that to happen, which is where I think that and everybody does it out. He's been debunked on videos millions of times. I used to do videos on him. You type his name into YouTube and you'll just get countless videos where people are telling everybody why Del's wrong. So I think it's been done. I think his arguments have been debunked, but they haven't changed. You know what I mean? For the amount of time I've been in here, his arguments just haven't changed. They've not developed, they've not grown, they've not changed. They've just stayed the same, and they've stayed completely wrong. And I think that's quite harmful to that echo chamber around him. So I'm going to stick with Arwen, but again, like I said, for a different criteria.
Yeah, well, I suppose the only thing left is to ask the chat what they think.
Yeah. Favorite flat earther.
Who is the best flat earther? It's not really favorite, but who would be the best flat earther between the two? And it's only between the two. Don't go into like Mark Sargent and stuff like that. But Del or Arwen, folks. Del or Arwen.
Let's have a look. First one is in from Tusk and Nimrod. They say Del. It's not a good start for me, is it? Oh my God, am I going to get spanked?
And that's up to the chat. Arwen is a bore. Yeah.
Let's have a look. Right,
Darwin.
so is coming in.
Darwin was not a potential person. Sorry.
I'm going to get really petty and count these up, at one point. After the stream, I'm going to go back.
Can speak Scottish. Doesn't matter if you speak Scottish. Yeah, Arwen is winning.
See, it's close, though. It is close.
Yeah.
He's sneaking in there, but it is close. I mean, I'm happy to call this one a draw, given the fact that we didn't tie.
They're both fucking morons.
And we didn't pin the criteria down, did we? I think we've come in and argued on different criteria. So interesting what the chat says, but I think I'm happy.
Do you know what? I think Ranty, as an ex-flat earther, has to say.
Oh, see, votes Krafty wins again. That's twice he's stabbed me in the back there. It's quite painful.
Oh,
amazing! That's a stinger. So there we go.
Yeah, I'm happy to call that a tie. That was fun.
We'll call it a tie. We will call it a tie. And I've got, just to let people know, there are some debates in the background that we're working on. Mostly Insects was on a couple of weeks ago, and he debated a Marvel girl about police auditing. And he took the stance that auditing was a good thing. Marvel girl took the stance that it did more harm than good. And quite a few interesting questions fell out of that debate. And I've been in touch with Lee, who's mostly Insects, on email. He's desperate to come back on and do the same again. So that's going to be lined up soon. I've also hopefully got another one lined up on Electric Universe. So we should be seeing some more debates fairly soon. What have you got coming up, Krafty, on your channel? And well, obviously this is your channel as well. But
yeah, other than this, I have on Friday, I'll be helping Steam a couple of reasons, who's in the chat, who has to run to bed, I think. I'll be helping him out with his new channel, which is called The Pain of Progress, which is an incredible thing, which you helped launch on the Waldy Catz channel. And I'm in the middle of redoing a video for my Challenging Conspiracies. Challenging Conspiracies videos are coming back. I'm hoping to get one a month, just like the Ion Society. But it's going to be on someone else's channel who I can't announce at the moment, which I'm very excited about.
Brilliant. And yeah, that Pain of Progress, I love it. I think it's absolutely fantastic show that. So if you've not seen it, I'm sure someone can drop. Well, you can drop a link in the chat, can't you, Krafty? And it is absolutely amazing. Really, 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 really good. Okay, so got about 15 minutes before I have to disappear. I don't know whether you want to wrap things up, or maybe there's someone in the chat we can bring on to have a bit of a chat with. What do you think?
Well, I think since we were discussing flat earthers there at the last, we might bring Ranty and Seek Truth on to give their verdict.
Well, I can definitely fire. If I fire Ranty a link over Skype, you're more than welcome to come on if you want to use it, mate. And first of all, thank you so much, Wade Watts, for that as well. Really appreciate it. I'll fire Ranty a link, and if you want to use it, you're more than welcome to. Thank you so much, Wade. Have you got Seek's email address? Right. Well, I'll fire it to Ranty. Is it just the link that's at the top of the thing here? Is that how we do it? Right. Whack it in Skype. Oh, Skype needs to do an install. No. So yeah, there we go. Interesting. Would you just would you read Snowflake and Safe Space?
I'm not sure. Again, they're designed for children, so I'm not sure. I probably will at some point, but the focus for me hasn't really been on comics lately. What do you mean Krafty can't StreamYard?
Oh, brilliant.
Of course I can StreamYard. I'm good at StreamYard. Don't even.
Now, if okay, Seek Truth can't come on. He's just listening. I don't know if Ranty can. If Ranty can't, then we'll maybe just call it an early day. I've got to be done by 4:30 anyway.
Yeah.
Well, so we'll see.
What I'm hoping to do is over the next week or two, I'm going to be running the workshops in the Discord channel. So if anyone isn't in our Discord channel, it's on the community post. Come join us. So what I'll be doing is like mini debates like this. So you'll have your intros round and you'll have a small back and forth. But that's it. That's the training that people are going to have. So just to show people how to actually debate, how to frame a debate, and how to conduct it. So that's gonna be fun.
No, sorry, go.
It's gonna be fun. Hi, Glean.
No, I'm not a Man City fan. I'm a Blackburn fan. But yeah, there we go. And I just want to, before we say hello to Ranty, I just want to back up what you said there. That Discord channel. If you look at Jen Panda's Discord, which is absolutely, he runs that so well. There's so many people there, and the debate is just constant. But it's all flat Earth debate. We're not trying to out-compete Jen Panda or anything like that. What we're trying to do is create a debate environment that isn't flat Earth focused, because obviously on Agree to Disagree, we'll debate any topic. So if you're interested in politics, religion, or anything, and you want to find a debate partner, if you come on. And then hopefully if that community gets big enough, it will become a really good source of people to bleed over into the YouTube channel as well and debate here live for us. But right now, I think we've got a stowaway on the channel, Krafty.
We do. How are you doing, Randy?
Hey, Krafty. How's it going?
Good. What did you think of today?
Well, yeah, I agree that it was a good debate. One thing I would say is that Catz should have just focused more on the DC characters. I mean, they are so much better than the Marvel.
They're as good. They're definitely as good.
Well, what do you think, Ranty? Snowflake and Safe Space? Will you be running out to buy that comic?
No. I mean, who thought of that up? I mean, come on, really?
I'm just thinking this is off the cuff, Ranty. Right? It's very much off the cuff. We haven't planned any of this, but I'm just wondering, while there's people in the chat, there might be people who want to ask you some questions about recent events. Feel free to say no, but if people tagged us in, would you be interested in answering any questions they've got?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
All right, so there you go. So if you've got a question you want to ask Ranty about recent events, then just bob it in the chat. We'll bring them up. We'll discuss it. We've only got until 5:30, or at least before I've got to go. I don't know if you're going to stay on Crafty or you can close it down. Then it's up to you. But I have got to go soon.
Did you not speak about the Flash? Did you? I didn't hear you talk about the Flash.
No, he didn't.
No, and I do like the fact. When's it coming back to Sky One?
I've not followed the series for about 4 years now, so I've lost it. I've lost track with it, to be honest, because they had 3 that were going at the same time. They had the Green Arrow, Flash, and what was the other one? Supergirl, I think it was. And yeah, so they was doing crossovers and stuff, and then we missed it for like a season.
That was a great series, actually. The 3 of them. I watched them, of course.
You've watched them all.
Yeah.
But yeah. So in the Snyder Cut, when Flash basically saved the world, I mean that can't be overlooked.
Well, they even did a crossover with the movie version of the Flash. What's the guy Ezra Miller, is it, who plays him? He actually appeared in one of those crossovers with the TV series, actually with the I can't remember his name, but he actually appeared on the TV show when they did the Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover. That was brilliant. But they've got so many shows in that now, like Stargirl is part of that universe, and Black Lightning is part of that universe, and they've got Titans is part of that universe. They've got so many now that they can draw on. It's hard work keeping up with them all. Right, let's have a look if we've got any questions for you. Ranty, you're doing a fantastic job debating fluffs. How does it feel to be able to run rings around their arguments?
Well, it's just a case of, having run my own debate for 14, 16 months, something like that, and being on the flat earth debates, you get to know the tactics, where they're trying to take the argument, where they need the argument to go in order to try and pull a hat out of the rabbit out of the hat. And I'm not going to allow that. I know exactly where I want to keep them on track, hold the toes to the fire, get to a particular point, and I'm not going to allow them to use their little cheats, which they've got. And they are cheats because they're just obfuscations of the points. So it's just by me knowing what they're going to pull out of the hat, like I say, I can preempt that.
Because you know what kind of arguments that they've used in the past, so you know how they don't apply to that image, etc.
Exactly, yeah. And also, the end result, the net end result of where they're trying to take the argument is just to some kind of stalemate, which is just a circular reasoning argument, and it doesn't address the issues. So I want some kind of clear victory in some way. So I was always good at debating, and this was just, carried on when I switched sides, basically.
And I think I know you're right about that. Trying to draw an argument into a stalemate. When you listen to Nathan Oakley, for example, if somebody wants to come on and they want to talk about, gravity or whatever, or evidence for gravity or Cavendish effect or whatever, you get about 2 words in and you mention the word mass, and then, well, let's stop. Let's talk about the definition of mass, and then you might bring up, I don't know, inertia. Well, hang on, let's talk about the definition of inertia. And actually, you never actually get to the original point that you wanted to talk about because they just want to stall and stall and stall and stall and stall. I want to apologize to James. Sorry, buddy. Nobody's deliberately ignoring anyone.
He asked the question there. Well, he's asked a few questions, but one of the questions that he asked is, why does he need anyone to teach him how to do a debate? And the answer is very simple. You don't. But if you want to learn, if you don't have the experience and you're too nervous, what we're going to be doing, or if you have experience and you want to help teach others and be involved in that, then what we're going to be doing is little kind of debates like what me and Catz did just in the Discord server to help everyone who wants to learn how to debate, reach a point where they feel confident enough to actually take on a debate.
Another one for you here, Ranty. Can you see that on the screen?
I can, yeah. Hang on, let me just make sure I've got it on the StreamYard. Yeah.
I don't want it to make it look like I'm reading stuff out to you that you can't read. What do you think of that?
That's agrees to disagree. Are you embarrassed at the things you used to say, or do you consider them part of the process and necessary to get to this stage? Well, yeah, of course. The one thing I would say is that when I am saying those things, I genuinely believe them because I believe that the other people doing research in those fields, let's say, I believe them wholeheartedly that they were being honest with their research. I was at least trying to be as honest as I could with my research, and I just thought they were being the same. And my next video, which is about truthers in the community, and I say that in brackets, truthers, I always felt that I was a truther, and I believed that the others were truthers too. Sadly, since I've left and can see what's going on with this image and stuff and the way they are basically strawmanning the argument and blatantly lying, it's clear to me that they were never truthers. So a lot of their things that I believed, because I wasn't prepared to believe the Globers when they were saying, no, they're lying, they're wrong. I believed the quote unquote truthers, but they weren't being truthful. They were lying to me. So I was just as hoodwinked as everyone else, and I was just swept up in everything. So I did say those things, and I'll continue to take the piss out of myself for doing so. I'm just glad I'm out of there, though. Seriously. Back to reality. That's good.
Yep.
But I get that, because when you've got faith in people in a community and you genuinely think that they're, for example, you always said you were into optics and nothing else, right? You never made any arguments about gravity or anything like that, but there are flat earthers out there who did claim that they could debunk the Cavendish experiment, etc. I suppose when you've got faith, you'll have had faith in them that they knew what they were talking about, and you'd have accepted what they were saying. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, because I tended to stick to just something that I was interested in, which was just the optics of things and how the effects of light work, looking over water. That was just the only thing I was really interested in. The rest of the stuff I believed from other people, listening to them, listening to their behind the scenes talk, listening to the little presentations they would do for me behind the scenes. So it was just a case of, I believed what they were bringing to me. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. Oh, that's cool. Yeah. And it was always stuff that was pro flat earth. So anything that was ever against that, I could imagine they suppressed that. And now that I'm stepping back, I can actually see it all unfold, and it's like a roadmap of all the lies they've laid out over the years, and it's all just coming to fruition now. I can see it all, and it's not a good place to be in. And somebody says there that they would like to see me debate Bev. Well, let me just tell you, in the next video, I actually have I have a killer argument there that's going to destroy Bev Try Thinking. So be prepared for that.
Now, just bring this one up. Now, Asterex, I think, is commented on quite a lot of my videos. He's quite a civil guy, and I want to address something, because he's saying he doesn't believe you. There is a rumor out there that we've talked about behind closed doors that somehow you've kind of jumped ship or done this for financial reasons. Now, me and you both know the truth behind that. But do you want to give a comment on that? Like, have you jumped ship to earn money?
No. No. When I gave my channel away, late last year, I haven't earned a dime from any of this. This has all been everything that I've done on this, even the podcast and stuff. The podcast isn't making any money whatsoever. We haven't monetized it at all. It's just costing money each month to actually make it. The same with the YouTube channel. There's all this stuff going around different channels and talking about this. I'm not getting paid to go and do this. I'm doing this all for free. This is like, I haven't earned a penny out of this, and it's all because I feel like I owe it to the community to give back a little bit and to say to them, hey, look, this was my journey. This is where I've ended up. You are being lied to, and I'm going to expose that as best I can. And if you want to stick your fingers in your ears, so be it. But I'm sure that there's a lot of people out there that probably will at some point stumble across the channel and see what I'm actually trying to present. It's going to be humorous, sure. And yes, I am taking a little bit of Mickey out of myself, but I don't care. I can't have taken any more Mickey out of myself than being a flat earther.
Well, can I make the point and commend you for that? Because both yourself and Seek, one of the things that I do have to respect is the fact that when you made that decision, it is very, very easy for people who have decided they were wrong about something to just disappear off into the ether and just not do anything and give up on everything. And, you didn't do that. Seek didn't do that. Instead, you've decided, I'm going to expose this crap for what it is. I'm going to expose their lies, and I'm going to basically ask them to explain this to me, knowing that I can explain it better. So fair play, and you're never going to convince everyone. That's the point. You're never going to convince everyone that you've done it for the right reasons, and you don't have to. Your motivations are your own, and it really frustrates me when I see people deciding for you what your motivations are when they have absolutely no proof, no backup. They don't know you. You are more than just what you believe the shape of the earth is, and that's to everybody. And it really frustrates me when they decide that they know your intentions and your morals and everything else better than you do. So I commend you for sticking around, because it's a very, very hard thing to do.
Thank you. And somebody said there about it was some kind of bid for legitimacy. Well, I don't see that either, because I basically walked away from the arguments. You know, I'd given my channel away. I'd stepped back. I was doing a podcast with Conspiracy Catz where we never talked about flat Earth. In fact, you know, I mean, I had no real input into the flat Earth for months. You know, I basically just stepped away, stepped aside, let other people fight the fight. And the only reason I came back was because of this image. And I tell you something, this channel that I've made would never, ever have been made if the, let's say, quote unquote, FLIRF leaders had actually done a decent job in debating the actual evidence that was put forth. Instead of which, all they've done is lied, created straw men, attacked me, everything they can do to deflect rather than actually address the presentation that was made. And that's what pissed me off. I had respect for these people, at least on a small level, whilst I was in the flat Earth community, and I expected them to at least debate this properly and look at the evidence properly and analyze it and scrutinize it properly, and they have not. And I tell you what, it's only because of that I made the channel. That's what angered me the most, because I thought at least it would be put out to the community, the reason why I left, and then to actually have a proper debate about what was actually there. They didn't do it. So it's on their heads for doing that. They created this situation, not me.
Yeah, and I'm going to back you up on that, because I know that you had walked away from conversations that we'd had, you know, before we were filming podcasts and stuff. You had walked away, and you that was your sole intention, and I could see in you as people were reacting to that image and dodging the image and just not giving it a serious analysis. It was winding you up. And I saw that happen, and I know that is the reason you made this channel, because it was basically a case of, well, look, how dishonest is that? You've been given an image that really deserves some analysis, and all you're doing is, you know, hand waving it away and not even bothering to look. So I know that wound you up, and you know, I know that was the reason you come back with your channel.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I didn't want to even step back into the arena, but I'll tell you something, since I've actually stepped back in, I'm having great fun, because this is my humor. This is my sort of like inner humor just coming out. It's like, this is who I am anyway. So being able to apply it to something like this is actually quite fun. So I'm actually enjoying it now. And to tell you something, it's the first time I'm having fun in a very long time. So I'm enjoying putting these videos out. And hey, listen, they may have done me a favor at the end of the day by not analyzing it properly, because it's giving me the impetus to actually just go ahead and say, right, okay, let's bring down this shit. Let's bring it down.
Yeah. No, brilliant. I've got about 4 minutes before I've got to duck out. If there's any more questions in the chat, though, for Auntie, just tag them in now. Krafty, what are you going to do? Are you going to stick around, or are you going to...
No, I'm going to jump off. I have a few other things to do, and I have that other video to do as well, so...
Right, well, we'll have a last-minute chat. Mr. 42's here for the last 3 minutes. We'll bring him in, say hello. Mr. 42, how are you doing?
Good day, people. I'm doing well, thank you.
We are here for 3 minutes.
I know. That's why I clicked join.
And then I've got to dive out. But it's good to see you again, and thank you for everything you've done for this channel as well in the transition. Have you got anything you want to ask, Ranty?
No, not really, because I've spoken with Ranty already, so everything I had to ask before is already answered for me.
And can I just say that I've got two of the people that are actually on the introduction on the panel right now. We've got Mr. 42 and Conspiracy Catz, who both did their little segments, and both of them are in the intros of the Flirspective channel. So
nice.
Yeah, and that made my wife think I'm totally crazy because I was screaming in an empty room.
What do we study here?
The way the
Flirfs.
I will not do it now. I will only scare my daughter, who's not right next to me, if I start screaming now.
Well, it doesn't look as if there are any more questions coming to you in the chat. And I do really have a hard finish at 4:30. I've got to go. So I don't know. What do you think, Krafty? Should we begin to wrap things up?
Yep, absolutely. For me, anyway, this has been a lot of fun. I have spent the last couple of days quite sick, so I needed a pick me up and a bit of fun. 2 weeks time, Gleam versus Ranty. Will contact you on Twitter if Ranty is up for it. So that might be an interesting one. But Gleam, if you are going to come on, make sure you absolutely have something. You have a presentation to make. Otherwise, you're just going to look like Witsit, and it's not worth it. So bring something. Bring anything that will actually prove your point instead of, nuh-uh, I don't think so, because that's not an argument.
Gleam usually does come prepared. I'll be interested to see that one if it could stay focused on the image, because I think that's what needs seriously debating. And Gleam does actually come quite. But I'm interested to see what his arguments are with that, because, like I say, Witsit didn't at all. He didn't come prepared to talk about the image. He just come to basically say, did you take refraction into account in your observations? No, you didn't. Therefore, we can just hand wave dismiss everything. That was basically his whole argument he repeated over and over. I will be interested because I know Gleam likes to talk about visual effects with cameras and lenses. So I'll be interested to see what he comes up with. So yeah, hit us up on Twitter, and if Ranty's up for that, we can make that happen. If Ranty's up for it.
Yeah, just want to say in the chat, people are asking what my new channel was. So it's called Flirspective, and I've just made a comment in the chat right now. So if anyone hasn't already, and I know Conspiracy Cats hasn't actually subscribed either. I mean, that's terrible.
How was your first subscriber? Remember?
It doesn't say that you're actually a subscriber of mine.
It's because I've got my subscriptions hidden.
Is it? Right. Okay. I do apologise then in that case.
But I know I was number one. Remember, I said I'm going to be the first one, and it was the Baldy Cats account that I subscribed on. I'm just getting the link, and I'm going to.
It's already done.
Now. Oh, is it already done? Again, there we go.
You're too slow, Cats. Cats can't tech.
Yeah.
As usual.
Right, I'm going to drop out then, guys. We will time to end the broadcast. We'll be back with some more debates very, very soon. Have we? People can check the community tab out for the Discord, can't they, Krafty?
Yep, they can indeed. It's there. It's the last one in the community. It's the first one that you'll come up against. But do join the Discord. It's going to be fun. If you don't want to be a debater, you don't have to be. You can just talk to us in there. And yeah, if you do want to learn how to debate, or if you do want a platform to debate on, that's the best place to go.
Brilliant. And Mr. 42's put his in the description as well. Well worth checking out. Sorry, I should have said that. Definitely well worth checking out Mr. 42's. And we'll call it down until next time. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye, people.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.